when you have a form and a name, there's something important, because it's not so easy to fix your attention on abstract Vedanta and say, oh, Krishna is also the Supreme Being because he says so in the Gita. I'm saying this because you have a temple here, you come here, you listen. If there was no hall in the temple, how would I speak to you? The knowledge is distributed. There are knowledge centers as well as centers of devotion. This we should note. Now, since I was talking about the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita is called a Gitam. Bhagavad Gitam, song of the Lord. It's not prose. It's not prose. At some point I want to make a ballet where the Bhagavad Gita is sung and somebody like this young lady, Smita, will dance. There's somebody. It's so beautiful. So it's a song. You don't speak the Gita, it's a song. Now when you say song, you can't express certain things in prose. Especially, why do people write love poems? Because it's easier to express in poems with music and so on rather than reading dry language. Doing an essay. Poetic license is there. So you will see that exquisite poetry is usually, when there is love, affection, there is exquisite poetry, so it's a song. And this song is even more important because things which can't be conveyed through prose can be conveyed through song. Let me explain this to you a little more. First of all, we'll come to this instrument from which this music comes later. But let me explain this to you. All of us, I can't help going to a little bit of Vedanta. All of us think, right? I think we think. The greatest problem is not to think. We all think. And we all think, if you look carefully, in some language. You don't think without a language. Just try. There will be some language which connects your thought. Of course, there is something thought without a language. We'll discuss that a little later. But normally, all thinking is with a language. Even if you say, I am not thinking with a language, you're thinking with a language. English now. I sometimes think in Malayalam, or Hindi, or Sanskrit for that matter. So, there is a language. Now, there is one thing which does not have a language and therefore has no boundaries, and that is music. If you hear the flute, whether it plays outside the temple or in Vrindavan, you don't need a language. You may be belonging to any language-speaking area, but you will listen to it and you will enjoy it. It doesn't need words. If Western music, there is beautiful music like Beethoven, Mozart. You don't need a language, you don't need words, you listen to it. Everybody enjoys it. So therefore, music is a link between you, your mind, and that which cannot be measured by language. The Kena Upanishad says, Yad vachana bhyutitam menavag abhyutyate, that which even words cannot describe, but music can describe. Sound can describe. And the greatest music and the most important sound is the sound of the pranava, which is Om. And that again is a link between you and that which is beyond your limited personality, which is Krishna, or God, whatever you want to call it. So, and just look at this carefully. Krishna takes the flute and plays. Okay. We are fascinated. Gopis don't know where they are standing. They're looking up and down. They're not aware of their clothes. And can you make music if the flute was solid? Suppose you take a flute and fill it with muck, mud. Can you play on it? No. So the instrument for the music to come through, even if he's trying hard to play it, has to be clear of ego and empty and khali. If this happens, if the mind or the flute is emptied of all dross, and all the pretensions and prejudices that have gone into it, greed, anger, everything out, then you have an instrument through which the Lord can play. You have to offer it clean. And from our point of view, which is from the yogic point, I come from the Nath Sampradaya. People have a misunderstanding that Nath Sampradaya believe only in Shiva or something. Not like that. We believe that Govinda, or the Supreme Being, picks up the flute and plays, which is our Shushumna Nadi, when it is absolutely clean, and the music comes through the 7 holes, which are the 7 chakras in the system. That's our understanding. You don't have to believe it. You can say it's playing in Vrindavan and listening. But if you're really listening like a gopi, then you have no selfishness at all, and you enjoy the music. So therefore, having said this much, I'm now going to tell you a little short, small stories. This young man will enjoy stories, but you'll think that I'm grown up, so all these are stories. But please listen to them like stories, okay? Sherlock Holmes is a novel. Don't you enjoy it? Okay. Harry Potter is a novel. So, this is, first consider it a story and then see what it means. This is a story about how, Krishna goes off to Dwarka and he's staying with Satyabhama and his other wives. But they do full service to him. Every 15 minutes, every 5 minutes, they're looking after him. And yet, when he sleeps, in his dream, he keeps saying, Gopis, Radha. So Satyabhama is a little bit irritated. What is this? He's looking after him, he's still thinking of those Gopis, the cowherd girls in Vrindavan. What's the matter with this guy? It happens. So, Krishna decides, in this whole drama, Krishna, who is considered to be a Purna avatar, does all kinds of antics, which is nice. He pretends to have a terrible stomachache. All the Vaidyas come and check him up. And they say that, no cure. Then Narada comes, when Narada comes, you know what happens. It's a wonderful figure in the epics. Narayana, he comes with his veena and pretends to be a great physician also. So he takes his pulse and all. He asks Krishna, so what to do now? I'm asking you, because your disease you know how to cure. I don't know, it's yours. So what do I do? He says, very simple. I already said what to do and nobody is willing to do it. He said, what? I need the dust of somebody's feet and nobody is willing to give it to me. Can you imagine giving the dust of your feet to God or to your husband? You'll go to hell 100 times. So neither Satyabhama nor Rukmini nor anybody is ready to do this. So he says, if you can find some, then my stomachache will go. Otherwise there is no way out. Narada says, all right, let me try. I'm traveling all the time. So another Narayana, he disappears. He's an aerial traveler, so he goes away. And then he lands in Vrindavan. This is a beautiful story. I know you'll say it's a story, but listen. he lands in Vrindavan. And the Gopis saw him, so they come running to him. They say, Narada, where are you coming from? He says, I'm coming from Dwaraka. I said, Dwaraka? So what is our little fellow doing, Krishna, there? What's he doing? We are kind of lost and dry here. There is nothing in our hearts now gone. He's gone off, stolen our hearts and run off to the Dwaraka. What's he doing? Then he says, okay, I'll tell you. They said, no, we don't want to hear what he's doing. He's a terrible fellow. He left us and went off. Narada said, but listen, I want to tell you. He says, okay. What's happening? He said, he has a terrible stomachache. And so they get very worried. No medicine to cure him. He said, yeah, there is a medicine. Nobody would be willing to do that. What is this medicine? You have to take the dust of your feet and put it in his mouth. Gopis say, there is nobody in Dwaraka who can do this. The most important thing is to get rid of his stomachache. We can't bear him suffering. Here, they dust their feet, all the Gopis. So one sack full of dust from their feet. Narada takes it on his back and flies back to, he doesn't have to pass immigration. So he flies back into Dwarka. And then he empties the sack and says, here I brought it. So Krishna looks at Rukmini and Satyabhama, takes a pinch and puts it in his mouth and says, that's so sweet. He says, my stomachache is gone. So they say, who gave this terrible sin of taking dust? Krishna says, the Gopikas. You know what it means? I think I don't care for myself, I only care for the Lord. What will happen to me? Who cares? Okay. Now we'll come to a little children's story. Okay. There was a little boy whose mother was very poor. Actually, they didn't know who the father was. She used to work with many. This is the case with Narada also. The mother used to work with various travelers and rishis, and somehow the child was born. Nobody knows who's, but the mother knows who, mother and child. So the mother wants to send him to a pathshala. There is no pathshala close by, it's very far. And to go to the pathshala, he has to clear a forest. Very thick forest, wild animals. But the mother says, just because I am poor, I am not going to not educate my son. He has to go. So one day she takes him to the forest, meets the teacher, Acharya, and he says, okay, I'll take him for free. So he's admitted. Now the problem is, every day he has to cross the forest. So his mother says to him, so he says, Mama, today I have to go to the teacher, but you are not coming, I am alone. What will happen to me? There are wild animals, I heard them the other day. So the mother says to him, just to make him confident and not be afraid. Actually, she doesn't know, but she just says, in the forest, we tell such stories to kids, right? That's why it's always good to say positive stories to kids. Don't talk to them about ghosts. Poor fellows will be frightened all their lives, even after they grow up. So, he said, in the forest, in the deep forest, there's a little boy who lives there, same size as you, a little bit dark. You know the Sanskrit word for dark? Krishna Varna, dark skinned. And he also has some peacock feather on his hair sometimes, and he plays a flute, beautiful music. So when you go in, and if at all you feel frightened, just close your eyes and say, hey friend, come, help me, I'm frightened, and he'll come. So The boy says, okay. Well, does he have a name? This is supposed to be set in Kerala. So the mother says to him, he's called Unni. Means a little boy. So this guy goes through the forest and then he hears the animals. You get frightened. So he shouts, hey Unni, Oriva, come quickly because I'm very frightened. So actually a small boy comes with peacock feather and a flute in his hand. And he says, sit down. I'm here. Your mother told you, right? I'm this guy. Okay, let's sit down. He plays the flute beautifully. He's fully absorbed. Then he says, hey, it's time for you to go now, sitting here. So he walks up to the edge of the forest, leaves him there, and goes back. This is happening every day. Every day, the boy comes back and reports to his mother. Oh, today he played the flute. Oh, today we played marbles. Oh, today the mother laughing to herself. I told him a story, he fully believes me. Yeah, poor fellow. Anyway, good. At least he's going to school. So one day, there is the birthday of the Acharya, the teacher. So everybody goes with different gifts. They are supposed to go. There is nothing to take. This boy doesn't have, his mother doesn't have anything. So she gives him a small silver katuri and a little bit of milk and says, take it, but please remember this is the only katuri I have in my house. You give the milk and bring back the katuri. So I said, okay. So he goes. Again there are wild animals making noises. So the boy comes. He says, what is this? He says, the birthday of my teacher, so I am taking some milk in the katuri. He says, can I taste it? He says, no, it's a gift. He says, oh, come on, give it. Playfully he takes it from him. And it's a beautiful milk, great milk. Take it anyway and give it to him. So they cross the forest. And then he leaves him and comes away. Boy goes there, big line of people giving big gifts and presents. There's only this little katuri, and that also he has to get the katuri back. So all his students, co-students, are making fun of him. Oh, he wants the katuri back. Wow. So the master says, okay, doesn't matter, go get a bucket from there. So they bring a bucket. Okay, you will say it's a story. Fine. He pours the milk into it and says, take your katuri. Boy says, but there is some milk here still. Oh, okay, pour it. Goes on till the whole bucket is full and there is still milk in the katuri. So the teacher gets very suspicious. The Acharya says, what is this? Do you know magic? Does your mother know Indrajal or something? He says, no, I don't know anything. No, but something has happened. Can you tell us what? From the time you brought it till here, something must have happened. He said, nothing very significant. Yeah. My friend, a little fellow who lives in the forest, the dark guy, he tried to sip this milk. That I know. Teacher gets very angry. Why did you allow? And then you're giving it to me. He said, but I don't know. He just snatched it from me. And I think something he did because I don't know why this milk is not stopping. So the teacher laughs and says, this fellow is a liar. He's just lying. There's something is wrong here. There is no such boy there in the forest. There's nothing. He's just lying. He says, okay, can you take me there? We said, sure, innocently, I'll take you there. So he brings the teacher to the forest with all the disciples following. We go there and he shouts, hey, Uni, come. My teacher has come to see you. Come. No sound, total silence. No boy, no Krishna, no nothing. No flute. He gets very desperate. He said, they're calling me a liar, please come. Then there is a voice that comes from the sky. Akashavani. It says, these fellows are not ready to see me. You are ready to see me. You are so innocent, so clear of mind. So you saw me. These fellows, they can't see me. They'll see me when they become clear.